Hi, and welcome to Andrew Edge's Cheshire North West Reform UK update. I'm bringing you a story because obviously this story is one that's going to hit home not just locally but across the entire United Kingdom. Because obviously, in a story that the Greens have now put out, they're actually going to break with the CofE Church of England, which is actually an assault on the British heritage, the history of this country. I feel this is a bit of a disgusting thing for them to actually go and do, but I think in one sense, it now actually throws a huge curveball into Reform's hands. Because actually, if we go knocking on doors and bring this as a story to a lot of people who are unaware of the story, I think this kind of curveball should then convert a lot of extra people back into our hands, because obviously a lot of people would prefer to have the CofE Church within this country's heritage, because obviously we know what scary grounds you'll go down once you get rid of that heritage, because it leads to they go, oh well, we don't need that anymore, we'll go with the Islam faith, because they'll go, oh well, there's more mosques opening daily, there's more churches closing, which is how Reform now want to go, saying, well, but we're going to protect the churches, have no more closing, make them protected places so you can't convert them into mosques and etc., because obviously we don't believe that should be anything like that. And for example, if you are a Reform member, we do have where you can have the Christians Alliance and things like that within the Reform app, and you pay, I think it's £1 extra a month, and then you can get all the different information. You can go to different membership days for that, which is you do see likes of all the different big politicians appear at these days, and it is quite a bit of fun what they do at them, and it's at different churches throughout the country. The first one was in London, and a couple of the local churches on the outskirts of London, and they are planning a few more throughout the entire country later on. As you know, we've got the May election, so wait until we get all them out of the way. But obviously, I'm going to go into this story to go get you the full details, because obviously this is a big one. So obviously, as you can see, you have to be an Islamo-commie nutjob to conclude Britain's problem is too much Christianity. Former PM Liz Truss has blasted, which is quite true. Because obviously, yeah, some people have a go at Liz Truss. I understand what she's done past, but you can't condemn her for this. But under proposals outlined by party policy documents, Zach Polanski's party would end the Prime Minister's involvement in appointing the Archbishop of Canterbury. Again, I think that's wrong, because obviously we need to have some sort of control over that. The church would also become self-governing institution, while bishops currently sitting in the House of Lords would lose their seats. Again, I think why should they suddenly lose their seats in the House of Lords? But then he's obviously got a plan to put who he wants in there, which is obviously going to be a whole host of new, I would have thought, Muslim leaders in there. No person should hold office in state or be excluded from such office by virtue of their spouse membership or non-membership of any religion or denomination of religion, party policy documents say. So reading between the lines there, you can see it's basically meaning he wants to then include the Islam faith into it. And I'm sorry, into our constituency, into our laws, no, you shouldn't be including Islam into it. Destabilising the church would undo nearly 5 centuries of British history. Completely agree with that. Henry VIII created the Church of England as the nation's official church through the 1534 Act of Supremacy, as he broke with Rome. So you see how long we've been involved with this. It's a long physical period of time. The king is still the head of the church to this day. Obviously does change whoever is the monarch. Obviously, as you see the comment there, Reform have the cream of what used to be the Tories. Sir Jacob Rees-Mogg, who would really top them off for me. Getting President Trump would be wonderful in getting one of only two trusted allies back. Yeah, because obviously Rees-Mogg is a fantastic ally. I think one that he may come across, to be fair. But the Church of Law, as a result, forms part of the law of England in England and Wales, and it always, should always be part of the law in our countries. Countries included Iceland, Denmark, Malta still retain an established church through the Church of Wales, and the Church of Scotland were both cleaved away through the state in the 1920s. The former Bishop of London, Lord Charters, has in the past said the Church of England is already the most destabilised church in Europe. But again, it's only because of how we've become as a destabilised country. It's not because of how certain people are putting it. Because if you look at what's going on in London, you look at who we're allowing into the country, it's actually to do with too many faiths, the fact we've allowed Islamists to take over too many of the churches and things like that. Because it says, although the church is responsible for 45% of the Grade 1 listed buildings in England, worshippers largely pay for their upkeep, and the clergy are paid without a substantial public finance available to the churches. In Germany and France, he pointed out, writing in the Church Times, and Dr. Jonathan Chaplin, a specialist in the Christian political theology, has argued that the growing secularization and declining congregations have left the Church of England's place as a church of the nation in peril. But obviously, that's why we need a better party in charge, which would be ourselves, Reform, because obviously we're the ones that are actually trying to push this back more to the forefront. Because obviously it's something that should be championed, because obviously the country does have to have it as the leading faith. And even if it means pushing a certain other faith out of the back door. This was echoed by former Prime Minister Liz Truss, who said last night, you have to be an Islamo-commie nutjob to include Britain's problem is too much of Christianity, because you can never blame Christianity for the problems in this country, because they're not the ones that go round causing problems in other countries. Because, for example, the problems in Iran, they're not the Christianity's fault. That's a problem of the Islam faith. But they'll always blame other cultures for it. It is the fact, because the Islam faith they come, take over, and expect to be able to just grow and conquer. And I'm sorry, no. Why should they? And as it continues, half of those surveyed said Britain was no longer Christian. That's how bad it's becoming. While 13% they believe it never was to begin with. That's how sad that is. But pollsters did find some signs of hope for Britain's Christian future. So with that said, where is that thing where the Greens go, we're the party of hope? They're the party of pure hatred, I'm sorry. Pure hatred. So some 52% of the 2,000 adults surveyed believe moving away from the country's Christian roots would be a detriment of future generations. Again, I 100% stand by that and agree with it. A clear majority, 58% of Christianity, still had something positive to offer. The way Britain is governed, it's because the way it's always been governed. You can't suddenly change it just because a party is now the Islamic Green Party. You can't suddenly change that. While data from the Nelson IQ book of data revealed the numbers of Britons buying Bibles jumped by 19% last year taking the total to its highest number since 1998. So if things like that are jumping, you've got to think maybe the Greens have this wrong, but you've got to be completely woke and mad to back the Greens. So that's basically what I wanted to bring up today, because that madman there, we cannot have him in power, because everything they keep launching is detrimental to this country. And you just see, just this one policy now undermines the whole system altogether. So please leave me a comment, leave me likes, share this post as far and wide as possible, because we need to show the Greens for what they truly are. They do not want the best for this country. They want to turn us into the next Islamist state, and we are not that. We are British. We are a Christian country, not what he wants. So please like, share, and get this video out. Thank you. Goodbye.